Back to my channel, Amuse Jester. My name is Junior. Let's take a look at Marvel Legends, Odin son. Well, Odin. Just came in about 2 days ago. So there he is, Almighty Odin. And in the back, oh, that's pretty cool artwork. Oh, and then he has a small bio over here. Odin, King of Asgard, uses his immense wisdom and skills as a warrior to defend realms as the All-Father. Odin the Asgard. Wait. I thought this was gonna be a whole thing, man. I always get messed up with this different languages. I was gonna look and it's like this is different language, so it's multilingual. So that's all we have. It's like a little bit. Okay, so let me open it up and see what's going on. Alright, so let's start with the boring stuff. Let's start with the extra hands. Basically, closed fisted hands and the grabbing hands. Good enough detail. Basically, we should be used to by now with this pearlescent plastic that they cast these things out of. So it's just, that's all it is, bare plastic. Interesting, that's different colored here in the hinges, so it's probably a different kind of plastic. So good enough detail. If you want to make it pop a little bit more, you can paint it yourself. Okay, and let's start with the crows, which is cool. He has two crows, one sitting position over here and one that's flying. Detail wise, as you can see, the crows are very nicely detailed. You can even see the eyes are even sculpted. The feathers are individually sculpted. They're very nice. Even the back looks really good too. So it's nice to have that much detail on the crows. It's just, but the only thing is it's not painted. It's just casted plastic. So again, if you want to notch it up a bit, you can paint it yourself. And there's another one over here that is just sitting around. I'm really glad to get this staff. It's nice to have a nice complex looking staff. Nice shapes on it. Particularly like this part over here. I don't know why. It might be more reminiscent of a lot of designs whenever they're showing Odin's spear. I don't know why this is not pointed. I would have preferred it's much more pointier than that. It looks blunt. It looks like it was chipped off, so that's kind of a shame. Surprisingly, on the sword, this is just bare plastic, but look, they actually painted everything over here. Nice gold paint here. Even what would you call this? This is the pommel. This would be the grip, I guess. And then it has this nice blue silvery thing at the end over here. So at least they paid attention to this part, and I really like that. Look at how much more it jumps out on you. This is one of the helmets that we have, much more simplified in design. Bare plastic again, but it is painted here and here, I believe. And compare the gold that's actually painted here to the goldish looking paint, plastic. Definitely puts a lot more shine when you have it painted. Hasbro just gives it a little bit more oomph. And this again kind of disappears in the bare plastic, but like I said, if you want to notch it up a bit, you can always paint it yourself. It looks like it's actually a separate piece from here to here, so that makes more sense as to why this gold is painted and this is not. This is the secondary headpiece that we have of Odin. This one incorporates his hair. As you can see from the bottoms, it's actually a separate headpiece from the, I would say, crown slash helmet. I do love the complicated design on this one. I like this one. For some reason, this appeals to me. A lot of nice design stuff going on over here, and I do like the horn on this. We'll see what's it's on the figure. While I have you on close up, we might as well close up on the detail on this face. My goodness, that is awesome looking. I would almost prefer this to be actual cloth. I mean, they did incorporate cloth here on the cape, and this is pretty good fabric too. Nice weight on it. I just, yeah, like the one that Mondo uses on their 1/6 scale figures. This would look really good, but it's just, again, as a sculpted piece, it does give it weight. So even though we get a lot of bare plastic on this one, I'm really glad they did spend the time to really spend money on some of this paint that they used on the figure, because this is not just bare plastic. I don't think so. And then this is not, for sure. This is painted. Separate piece, definitely painted here on the waist. Wow, a lot of detail. This is really popping. And the color that you're seeing on your screen right now, or at least what I'm seeing on my screen, does not justify what I'm seeing, because it's not greenish gold. This is like really gold coloring. And it's like, it's kind of a shame, because when you're comparing this bare plastic to this, you can really see how much more this figure would pop with a proper paint application. Nice design of the thighs. Really nice. At least they painted this, so it's showing that this is bone protrusion. That's really wicked. What's the history behind these bones? Are they from frost giants? Some monsters or other beings that he's conquered and he's incorporated into his armor? I don't know. Wow, look at that. Look at the detail in the back. Yeah, for sure. To be honest, I wasn't really gonna get Odin, but I'm glad I did and pre-ordered him, because this is such an awesome looking figure. Because I don't really see this as Odin when I think of Odin. Let's see. So in terms of Thor comparison, this is the Thor that I think of when I think of Thor, like classic Thor. Which means I really don't think of Odin in this manner, because this seems like a more contemporary look for Odin. And for sure, comparing the scale of them, I don't think Odin's supposed to be that much more bigger than Thor. But maybe, I don't know, maybe, who knows, maybe he can. He is supposed to be a god. But it just looks awkward to pair him up with my Thor. But you know, that's the way it is. He's definitely an imposing figure. It's not the Odin that I'm thinking of, but man, this is, I could believe this guy can beat you up and spit you out. In terms of articulation, what kind of articulation are we expecting on this head, really? Because it seems like it's just all incorporated here and there's nothing. Oh, look, this one comes off. Let's see what happens. So now we see that this is tabbed in there. The hair goes all the way to the back, so that's kind of nice. I'm assuming the hair in this one is removable, but let's see what kind of articulation we're getting anyway. I mean, like, what do we expect? It's basically sandwich front and back, right? So there's nothing. We'll deal with the articulation first before we swap things out. So the shoulder, this is kind of like attached to the inner body with this flap of plastics, and it moves well enough out of the way. So you got that much for the shoulder, and then it does, oh, it's swiveling off of the actual connection to the chest, but it does have a bicep swivel, which, now that I think about it, maybe it's no longer necessary because it's twisting on the shoulder anyway. It does have a single jointed elbow, and I'm trying to look for the hinge so I don't break it. I think this is the hinge. Very interestingly hidden over here. Yeah, that's the hinge. I don't think you're even gonna get a 90. It was basically just one ratchet joint, and that's it. Oh, it's a nice feature. Look at that. So it's got a rotation at the chest, it's got a rotation at the bicep, and it's got a rotation here at the elbow. All that rotation, and not much on the elbow. As for the wrist, it does have, at least that's a better movement over here, but it only goes up and down. This one, not. Let's see, how's the other side going? This other side also goes up and down, while the replacement fist will go in and out. And the same as this one will also go in and out. Okay, so that's kind of a interesting choice, at least if you want to switch your movement of the arm. You can switch off the arm and have, oh yeah, that stuff. Ooh, okay, so see, now this now goes in and out, while this one goes up and down. Okay, let's see, this whole body is just one big piece, so the only movement you're gonna get is at the waist. Looks like it's some sort of like not a straight cut waist, but more like a bowl shape. So you'll have the twist if you want to, have the side if you want to. Really nice movement there, and not much going forward because of the design of this waist piece, but it does go up. That's just a shame, because I feel like it could possibly move more, but these two are just stopping it. And this is kind of like a soft rubber, but not as soft as it could be. But let's see, will it hinder articulation, or is there even any kind of articulation? That's pretty much it for the leg forward. About equal range for the leg backward. Does have off to the side, surprisingly higher than I expected, considering there's a thing here. Does have a thigh cut, and at the knees it does have a double jointed on the knees, but this thing is such a blocky figure, I really don't expect much. With a combination of both, you're able to get at least 90 degrees, so at least you have that much. For the ankle, it does move fairly well, and the ankle does swivel. I look at this Odin and I think a bear. Like, this figure is just a one big massive bear that's just can literally rip you to pieces. This is not the kindly Odin that I'm thinking of. This is warrior Odin. So let's see, let's pop off the head and see what's going on. Pops up pretty good. Looks like there's 3 points of connection, one on each side of the temple and then one here. So let's see how he looks. Okay, and then we'll pop this back on. Right, so that actually plugs on really well. It definitely changes how he looks, as you can see. I do like this. I really do like this. I think plug that out. Put this in. So with this particular headpiece, by sandwiching the back hair underneath the wolf clothing or whatever this thing is, it does secure it a little bit more, because I felt like it was kind of loose. Now, what do you guys think? Should I have gone for the simpler helmet or the more complicated one? For some reason, this is more ornamental, more something he would wear in a throne room. Well, this one seems like he's more ready to go to battle. But I mean, like, honestly, wow, I was looking at this and I really like the design of this more, but it seems like the more simplified one for some reason looks a lot meaner to me. Honestly, this figure looks amazing. It really does. It doesn't go much for articulation. Honestly, there's articulation wise, this kind of sucks. It is. Oh wow. I wonder. Seems like this staff looks good on its own, but looks inadequate compared to the figure. So I suppose, like, if he uses that, can he? Okay, I'm gonna go with this look. Because I'm able to utilize the back hair and this wolf hide to properly sit the helmet in. This is much more secure. This was beginning to irritate me as it kept falling off. The figure is very massive. It is. Every time you move things, it just moves things around. It tends to pop this off, and it's almost ludicrous when you have him holding what appeared to be massive pieces of weaponry, but compared to the size of the figure, it's like almost childlike when he's holding on to them. Like, compared to Thor, it is almost the same size as Thor, and if Thor were to hold it, it would be massive. But against the backdrop of the Odin figure, this is like that's just not right. It's just, this is like a dagger, a big dagger for Thor to wield. I mean, for Odin to wield. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have him displayed sort of like this. And now that I see it with the figure, it feels like this should have been more bigger, more ornate or something, because this thing is just massive. And individually, I think it's a very, very imposing figure. I think even amongst the figures, it's so imposing. I don't really know exactly where he would fit. And the colors just so pops. The copper with the gold with this cobalt blue really is popping. Very beautiful figure, and definitely I'm glad I pre-ordered it. I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I'm adding it to my collection. Like I said, this is not the reiteration of Odin when I think of, but I'm glad I got him. So in terms of value, definitely for sure, the value is up there more than the figure, the price itself. So let's take a look at how much this cost me. $60 for this figure. I think that's a good enough price for it. If the price was at level 10, I would say the value is around 12. It probably would have been higher if I had gotten more articulation range, probably a little bit more massive sword, I think, honestly. But in terms of the accessories are basically exactly what I want. I mean, it's got the two over here. I think it would even be higher because I see all this paint application that's applied and makes the figure beautiful. I just wonder how much more beautiful it would be if all these bare plastic was actually painted, you know. Yeah, it's still the value, I think, is quite up there. It's not something where I would say the value is equal to the price. I think the value is slightly higher above price, I think. And the use of the cape, definitely this fabric is nice. It does tend to catch, so it might actually start, yeah, see these birds starting to appear. But other than that, definitely if you can get it, I don't know if it will actually fit on any of your collection with Marvel Legends, but a very nice figure, very, very imposing. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. I hope you have a nice day. Bye bye.